Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this special podcast with Metro Jiu-Jitsu. Here, Coach David. Obviously, we have Professor Muhammad and our very special guest, Sensei Bruno. Sensei, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us today.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mohammed, for the opportunity. Looking forward for this conversation.
Absolutely. So you had obviously a really big week, a huge accomplishment in your career. Can you tell us a little bit for those who don't know what happened this past week?
So this past week, in Anaheim, California, IBGF, the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, they're organizing the World Championship for the juveniles and adults divisions, like age groups, and team lead, the team that I have created in 2016, was recognized as the number 9 uh, ranked team in the world, which you guys are a part of as well. And there's a huge accomplishment because there's like almost 200 associations in the world.
Wow.
There's almost
I didn't
200
know there was
associations
that
in the
many.
world. And then to be ranked number 9 for the second year in a row, because that we were recognized last year as well. However, because of the pandemic, there wasn't an in-person ceremony. They just sent the award. This year, like this past week, much more special. The ceremony during the World Championship, the recognition, to be like walking in middle of the match to receive the award among some of the most powerful and traditional teams in the world. Some of those teams, they have been around before I was born, like Carson Gracie. We were right behind Carson Gracie's team.
Sure.
Grace Barra, uh, if not before I was born, like when I was like a little kid, you know, I remember being because I was Novo União, so I remember being at the Novo União meeting that set up everything when I was 14 to 15 years old. Uh, Alliance, I remember when Checkmate was created in the 2000s, Atos, like powerhouse teams, and then like we are ahead of a lot of traditional teams as well. So besides that, having athletes competing at the World Championship as well. We had Nesmia from Metro Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She did her camp here in Midland, Texas, at my school, BASTOS Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That is the headquarters of Team the BJJ. She achieved a silver medal, which is huge. And I believe the first competitor from Metro Jiu-Jitsu to achieve a medal at the World Championship, if I'm
She
not
is.
wrong.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, and then we have Kathleen Sparks, the students that I have here in Midland, Texas. She achieved bronze. Huge accomplishment as well. She's been training only for a year and a half. Uh,
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
huge potential, huge potential. So excited already for 2022. Already planning to 2022 because yesterday was Monday, today is Tuesday, so time doesn't stop to anybody.
Yeah.
Professor, so would it be fair to say that the numbers in your team compared to some of the other people in the top 10, as far as your association, do you have lots of people, or would you consider your team small? And uh, how'd you guys climb up to number 10 with with the size of the team you have? Because I know like other organizations, they have chapters, like so many of them. It's like a McDonald's franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So with the amount of people that you have, how is it that you guys were able to climb up into the top 10? And then another question is, from what we've seen is, I visited your school. You guys
Mm-hmm.
have like average people.
Mm-hmm.
We took a closer look at your organization, and it's not like they're just average working people, average students,
Mm-hmm.
and many of them probably are not going to teach jujitsu or ever own a school. They just have picked up a hobby, and you've been able to create a lot of amazing competitors out of them. How do you do
Mm-hmm.
that? How do you do that with the numbers that you have?
So first, Mr. Muhammad, as far as the association, we are a small team, uh, which I don't think will be forever. I think we been growing. We're gonna keep growing because people see the result and people want to be a part of something that's special. So I see our association growing, uh, and I think the relationship that I have with the affiliates, being open for everyone, being honest and sincere with everyone, uh, and it's still being active competitor as well. I think that helps because uh, I really believe in a competition as a tool to people's personal development,
Sure.
and that's in any level, in any level, from all the way from the little kids all the way to Master Seven, like 60 or person people on their 60s. You know, uh, some people they don't like uh, competition, and I understand that that will not be comfortable to a lot of people.
Sure.
Um, However, comfort don't keep your life safe, right? Comfort just keep your life small.
Yeah.
You know,
Dave?
I believe in challenge yourself, and then going for the question for the school, my school over here. I think it is the same. It's the same. The relationship with people, the average guys and girls that like you said, that they walking in and then they start training and then they see that their head coach is an active competitor, and then they ask themselves like, oh, why not? Right? The ones that will have like competition history, like they have competed on high school or even college level, they're gonna ask those questions, and they're gonna go to a local tournament. And then I see the potential, and I say like, oh, I think you can make it. And then the person like, me, like be a world champion, be a Pan American champion. And then normally when those questions happen, uh, I have I don't like to have questions to reply, but a lot of times I make questions to reply questions, right?
Sure.
I say three questions. Why not? Why not you? Why not now? Because you never know what's gonna be tomorrow. So like, why not try? Like, why not you like accomplish that? And why not now? Uh, my wife says that I have the gift of make people believing on me more than they believe on themselves. I don't know how accurate is that. That's what she says.
Well,
Uh, but
speaking of your speaking of
that's what I believe.
speaking of your wife, a lot of people don't know that she was a professional athlete,
Hmm.
and she trained judo at the highest level in the world,
Hmm.
and she was a very successful judo athlete. So was the plan when you met Petya 10, 20 years ago, she's going to fit into my plan? Or how did it match up that a guy from Brazil and somebody from Europe meet together and ultimately, get
Hmm.
to where you are today? Because it seems like it's a perfect fit.
Yes.
She's just an amazing person to have in your organization. Was that by
Uh,
accident?
Well, I don't believe in coincidence, right? I do believe in God, and then I think was meant to be. Uh, Petia, she competes not only judo but sambo as well. She was part of the Bulgarian national team in judo, Bulgarian national team in sambo. She was a judo cadet world champion, sambo junior world champion. She went to Junior Olympics. She went to the World Military Games. Uh,
Wow.
she competed a lot of stuff, and then when she came to Jiu-Jitsu through me, she has accomplished a Pan American title as a purple belt and as a brown belt as well.
Holy cow.
So
So
I
we talk we
realize
talk we talk about a three combat sports with like accomplishments from one person. And I always say that she's the secret weapon that I have,
yeah,
right? Because
of course.
she's the glue of everything. You have come here like yes, I am the face of the school, but behind the scenes, she's the one that manages everything. She have found passion on management, and then that's been a huge part of our success over here. And but how we met is like I was in Bulgaria to coach a UFC fighter. Back then he wasn't even UFC yet, and no, he was on UFC already. I was being with that since 2009, and in 2012 he was training in a different academy, and then that academy, Petra happens to be there teaching judo. So I walked in, she was on the mats. Walking in to work with him. She was on the mats to teach judo class, and that's how we met. And it's not even that long ago because it's 2012, October of 2012, December of 2012. She moved here. 2013 we got married, and now 8 years later we have a 8-year-old boy, a 6-year-old girl, a 6-month-old dog, and a successful school.
So Professor Bruno, so I have a question. You mentioned to go back to the previous, you're like, you kind of challenge people's thoughts. Why not you? Why can't you be a champion? And what I've always liked about jiu-jitsu, what's fascinating is I I can't I can't end up playing a basketball game against LeBron James. Like it's not going to happen unless it's like a kind of a sponsorship thing. That match will never happen unless I go and I make college and I get drafted in the NBA and I make it to it will never happen. But when I did I think it was Worlds last year. Who's Sanchi's guy? Lovato was going to be in my bracket. And Rafael Lovato Jr. is obviously, one of the greats. He's going to be in my bracket. And I'm like, how does that even happen? I was like, how did that happen? Because it's like, to me, I'm like, I'm Coach David. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean Lovato's in my bracket? And then in this year, or was it which one was in Texas? Nogi Worlds? Sanchi was in my bracket. Sanchi got me started in jiu-jitsu. Like I came up and I was like, how? What do you mean Sanji's in my bracket? So like there's this sort of, and then obviously Coach Jabril coming back, he's like, man, he worked hard at the camp. Like I know he checked in with Coach Muhammad regularly. His mentally, physically, you guys put in work at your headquarters. So where's the balance, or where does the rubber meet the road between why not you, why not go for it, and be prepared to make the sacrifices though? Because like when I hear why not you, it's like, oh, it's an easy sport, and everyone here who's ever done it knows it's furthest from the truth. So where does that sacrifice and that commitment and that work ethic come in? Like where's that sort of rubber to where anybody could be a world champ if they're willing to put in the work? So like what does that look like? Like what does that actual training and lifestyle look like to do what it takes to be a champ?
First, Mr. David, like that, what you said about you able to be like in a bracket with some of the greatest of all times is something that I tell my students all the time, right? One of the special things about jiu-jitsu is that you can you can roll with the average Joe, right?
Yep.
But you can roll with Shanji, with Buchecha, with Lovato, with Gordon Ryan. You don't gonna wake up and then like, oh, today I'm going to a seminar with Tom Brady. Oh, today I'm going to a seminar with LeBron James.
Yeah, right.
Today, like I'm gonna have a workshop uh with Michael Jordan. But you do have that in Jiu-Jitsu. You can literally be on the match, learning from and rolling, like actually like sparring, like rolling with those guys and girls. And that I think it is unique of Jiu-Jitsu. One of the things that makes Jiu-Jitsu special as well. And when it comes to the training, uh, we have what we call winning culture, right? And a winning culture is not about winning everything. It's about trying your absolutely best every day in everything, not only jiu-jitsu, right?
Absolutely.
Uh, and that's what I call winning culture. You're always gonna see me talk about winning culture, or I'm gonna see my hashtags winning culture, and then that's what is winning culture for me. So when it comes to the training itself, I believe much times is harder than the competition. We don't design the train to make sure that it's kind of like it's too hard for the students. It's not that. It's just to prepare them. Um, when you say that anybody can be world champion, like I don't like on your question, right? I don't believe that anybody can be. And then when I say why I say that, because there is that quote like jiu-jitsu for everyone. First, I don't believe on that. I believe everyone should try jiu-jitsu, but not everyone gonna enjoy jiu-jitsu. And even though I have a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school, I always say that everyone should try jiu-jitsu. I don't think jiu-jitsu is for everyone. I don't think competition is for everyone at all. All right. The you when I see an average student like a white belt join in, and then one of the things they wanna get more like feet, they wanna socialize with people and all that. But one of the things that they always gonna say as well is the self-defense aspect.
Hmm.
So one of the things that I tell the white belts once they get on the level that they doing good on the rounds on the school, I see that they're comfortable in the rounds. That's if they never talk to me, then I challenge them to go to a competition. Why? Because one of the things that made them sign at my school was the self-defense aspect. So, what a best way to see how good can you deal with a pressure than going to a competition, knowing that if anything goes wrong, you just have to tap. Different than in real life where you wouldn't have that option.
Absolutely.
So if I think that's where uh, I say like the bug bites some of the students, and
Mhm.
then they really like the experience, and then they wanna go farther. Some they don't feel comfortable, and then they're gonna do maybe like once every year just to test themselves if how they deal with the pressure of the situation and everything. Some will never compete again. They just really don't like it. The feeling, the anxiety, and then everything, and I respect that. Uh, we do have a good group of competitors, but it is not. If you put like overall kids and adults, maybe it is 10% of the school.
Yep.
You
Yeah, that's
know.
that's pretty much from what we see like nationwide. That's it, like 10%, if,
Yes.
or less, compete.
Yes, and then we're gonna have a few that here and there gonna try one time, but and because of this, I like to separate the training as well because we do have different type of classes. Both of y'all have been here, so we have fundamentals, intermediate, advanced, but we do have the competition training that's separate. Because I don't think it's fair. Let's say Dave work all day, and then he coming in 6:30 advanced class because you want to like just like you work all day, so want to release the stress. You want to get some drills, some rounds in, and then go home for your family. And then gonna have a 90-year-old Jibril trying to be a world champion, and then trying to tap you like left and right every single minute. I don't think that fits.
I mean, that was my entire jujitsu experience, by the way. Just like that was it. Like I was just trying to get it after work, and I was surviving for my life. That was my entire jujitsu experience.
Because it's hard. Like so, like I don't think it's good for the full-time worker. I don't think it's good for the full-time athlete. So you go home not happy because you didn't get what you were looking for. He goes home unhappy as well because he didn't get what he's looking for. So, and I'm in a position that I have to provide the best service possible. So I didn't provide the best service possible. So now I'm not happy as well.
How many competition classes do you have per week in Midland, Texas? Jiu-jitsu classes?
Here in Midland, we do 5 competition trainings a week. Not everyone does all 5 because I structure them in the way that who can do during the day gonna have Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12. Who work all day and can do only at night gonna have Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. And then on Saturdays, normally is the day that everyone meets at 11 a.m. And then Saturdays are the sessions that normally are a little longer, can be an hour and a half, up to 2 hours, can go even up to 2.5 hours, just depending on what we've been working. Of course, if you go that long, it's not that intense. You're gonna have a lot of breaks, gonna have short rounds, strategical part, tactical part, competition simulation. So that's why gonna be long. But it's not every Saturday. It's not every Saturday, right? And then of course the ones that are full-time athletes, they have the chance to do all 5. And a full-time athlete, let's have in mind that are the ones that are like 18, 19, 20, that they all what they have to do is school and train. You know, they have side part-time jobs because they have to make money, right? So some of our full-time athletes are instructors at our school, so they that's how they make their money as well. So it is good because they are the school the whole time. When they're not there, they're resting, and then when they're not resting, they mean they're in the school.
So watching you this weekend and at the last couple tournaments that we've been to at the world level, so I noticed that Professor Bruno, Sensei Bruno, is having all these conversations. You know, we might run into somebody that we know from a tournament, maybe affiliation, or somebody we know from the tournament circuit. But you're talking to like Galvo, Gustavo, you're talking to Shanji, you're talking to like all the guys, like your friends, and kind of hanging out, like all these guys that are the, you know, in any other place, people would need autographs. You know, would want to ask these guys for autographs. So when you talk to all these really famous people, including yourself, what kind of conversations you have? So when we look over there and you're talking to the top guys in the world, and we see you sitting down talking for a couple minutes, what do those conversations look like?
Mr. Mohammed, like guys, a lot of times nothing to do with jiu-jitsu because we
They're talking about Brazil. They want some acai.
No, it's because like a lot of those guys we do really have, like you mentioned André Galvão. I remember André Galvão as a blue belt. I was probably a brown belt or a black belt already. I don't remember now. Yeah, like he was blue belt, I was a black belt already. And then I remember he's being a purple belt, and now I was going to Fernando Tererê School because we were good friends. And then I remember training from André Galvão as a purple belt. So we have known each other for like a really long time. I remember like Shanji, when we were purple belt, we had the same sponsor. So the sponsor to do like confraternization with the sponsored athletes, and then would go and then would hang out. So even though we always competed against each other, we had a good relationship as well. Like so, like Bernardo Faria, like we have competed before as well. So like all those guys that you mentioned, we have competed, winning and losing. Uh, but we really do have friendship because also when you go to like to those tournaments like ADCC, or when you go to Abu Dhabi for like World Pro, then everybody kind of like stay together. After the tournament, everybody go eat together. Sometimes like have after party on those events, and then we go together. You know, so it's really when we see each other, like how's your wife, how's the kids, like when we talk about jiu-jitsu, it's like how's the school, but like so we talk the business part, like not like jiu-jitsu, because we give each other ideas as well, advices. So it's more like on that sense that the conversation goes. Um, I love that aspect because I feel respected and valued the same way that I respect them. So um, it's normal conversation like normal people.
Well, when people look at you, they don't see normal. They see like, wow, look at him and look at him and look at him. So it's really cool to see and hear that you guys are just, you know, you are normal people, but you've accomplished so much.
hmm But I think that's key. When when isn't everything if you don't know how to deal with that. Like you win and then what? What do you do with that?
Mm,
Right? For me is empower people. Like make people see what they can't see themselves doing it. I believe that every single person has greatness inside them.
yeah.
They just don't see that. I tell my students sometimes, man, I wish you guys could see what I can see.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
I know
Absolutely.
a former football player, Ray Lewis. I think that's how to say his name.
Yeah.
And I remember a quote from him: "It's hard to be a man who sees something." And first time I read that, I didn't understand. But nowadays, I understand. When I can see something, and then but the student itself he can't see that, or when the parents can't see that, what I talk about like their kids, because and I can't explain that. I can't explain that. I remember even my own home. Like I remember the first time my son João Lucas he won Punk Kids was February last year. I remember that was 2019 around November, December. I told Patch I'm taking João because he's going to win. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, because I see what he's doing. She's like, oh, I think we're watching a different training.
She's,
But
are we watching the same kid? Because
yeah,
I'm looking at one.
exactly. But then like, it's not that she's doubting her own son. It's not that she's a competitor as well. She like world class experience. It's just I don't know how to explain how I can see those things. Like, and he went and he won. You
That's amazing.
know,
You have an eye
so
for talent. You have an
so
eye
I
for talent.
I don't know. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to be a man who sees something because the parents don't wanna see what I see, or the students don't wanna see what I see.
You to just kind of join together your past few statements and paragraphs, like you said once you win, I'm paraphrasing it, you view it's your responsibility to use that status to empower people, and
Mm-hmm.
then other people, like, you believe everyone's got this sort of gift in them. I forget who it was. I'll have to find the quote, put it later. but it was said that we do this character development at our school as well. Many schools do it, but we're covering our word, and that's open-mindedness right now, and that means several different things. But open-mindedness, what it means is, and this is like a huge character trait that's important to me, is humility. And I forget who said the quote, but it said, "Every man is my superior in some way."
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that every person you meet is better than you in some field, and you can learn something from them, whether it's the bottom of the totem pole or the top of the totem pole. And so just kind of keeping that in mind. And even like when you're saying, when you talk to Cyborg or Sanchi, or you're like, how's that, like, you just humanize with them, how's the family, like, it's not like, oh, you're not reviewing
You're not
and
comparing medals to each other.
you're not it's not this, how many rings do you have, how many, it's this, how's the family, how's your dog, like, how's the, it's, you humanize with them. And so I think that's really important too. I think especially now more than ever, people resonate with that, because if you get, it's really hard. There was a time when we'll call them celebrities could be like great in front of the camera and then jerks in their personal life. It's getting much harder for that to happen with social media, and especially with people, with it is. So people's true colors are coming out, and I think that transparency really helps. And to me, that's the greatest thing, when someone has a persona virtually and they match that persona in person.
Yeah.
They match that persona in person. That's the coolest, that's the greatest thing. And then being able to, but I do agree with you. People limit themselves, and they think, oh, they were born into it. They got a lucky break. They did. So there is an obnoxious amount of work ethic that goes into it. But the only difference between someone who made it and someone who didn't is someone who was willing to do it and believe in themselves and see how far they could go with it in any realm, whether it's jiu-jitsu or whether it's country music or whether it's fill in the blank. What you want to design video games, like that is, like, you can do it, and the only reason the other person got further than you is because they believed they could, and you were just like, oh, well, it's not for me. I'm not that guy. And that limiting belief is
I believe as well, David, in mentorship. All right. So who do you follow that can guide you through the path? And then I think that's because, like, a lot of people gonna have the discipline, the willingness to do it, but if you have no direction, you get nowhere. Like, how you go somewhere without a GPS that you don't know the destination?
Spinning your wheels. Absolutely, I agree with that.
So, and that's, I think that part is very important, and is very underrated in today's world, that all what you have to do is Google, right?
Yep.
Then you're gonna see people that they know everything, and because they know everything, they don't follow anyone. So
good point.
I believe I have a friend, Victor Shaolin, like one of the greatest of all times as well in Jiu-Jitsu. We grow up together, and then, like, he says one thing that is one of the most true that I have heard in my life. We live in an era where everything is like just one touch away. So there is a lot of information, but a lot of times too much information is no information.
Yeah, of course.
So so it's not like how much information you get, is get the right information from the right person, trust that person. That's why I go back for what my wife said, like, when, like, she says that like, a gift that I have is make people believe in me more than they believe in themselves. And then, like, that, I'm just quoting her, right? But I really believe that trust is easy to say trust, but when the person really trusts you and then follow, you're gonna see their progress. You're gonna see their development, not not only on the match but off the match as well, because the actions don't gonna be taken only on the match. And then going for what you said as well, the social media, the celebrities, that a persona, like a lot of the people that you uh, they when they talk to me, like they like, oh, like you so open, so easy, like talking, and they're like, yeah, like what you see on the social media is who I am, right? I don't want to try to sell something that I am not. um and I think that as well, what's make easier the students and the affiliates to embrace the idea, like really like live every day to achieve your dreams.
So you have you produce like I don't know how many. I would say more than dozens, more than multiple dozen world champions of
Hmm.
all of your students in your affiliation, right? Um, and so, I study John Danaher. I've done a lot of studying on you and your athletes, and I've got lucky enough to work close by them and see their strategies and how they work, and competing. And ultimately, if you look at yourself as the head coach of the organization, if you're working with an athlete and they compete at a high level or a local level, do you ever take responsibility for their losses? Do you ever say take responsibility for the losses, or do you ever apologize to your students, taking some ownership in that, or is it all on the athlete and you don't have any responsibility?
No, like it will never be on the athlete. I'm so invested that for me it's personal. You could see this past weekend how it was when your kids competed. Like man, I get emotional. Like I'm invested on my students, on my competitors. Um, sometimes I can see like when I messed up, and I will apologize. I have done that before. Like I'm gonna say I'm sorry. That's what I saw, and that's what I call for this.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the trust process as well. Because it's not just, oh, David has to trust in me, Muhammad has to trust in me. Like, what if I don't trust in David and Muhammad? So there is no relationship.
Yeah.
When I say full trust, is the relationship. Like, are we together? Do we believe on the same thing? So are we going to accomplish together, right? Uh, so for me, all the students that they go to competition, for me gonna be personal, because I know that they trust me, they follow in the path, and when I it's not about they winning or losing, it's about their progress, their personal growth. All right, so that's why for me it's personal, because they could choose in anyone else, and then they chose me for whatever reason that that's up for them. But I take that seriously. Like I believe that every professional athlete, they have to find a path to follow for the after professional career, right? And then like my wife, for example, she found passion on the business side, and I found passion in coaching and mentoring students uh, and young athletes, because that's something that I didn't have, like I couldn't have growing up. So it's something I really love to do it, and so yes, it is personal.
I think just to take that a step further, I don't really know what it would be like. I don't even know how you could coach detached. I don't. I think that would come through so immediately and apparently they want to, like, if you didn't if this was just another job, like you show up to like check out at Lowe's, like you show up to like I think every coach, like any coach, like in really just about any sport, like it's not being a coach is not known as being a super lucrative career. Like it's you do it. You know, a lot of us started coaching for free, and then we're like, hey, I'm going to make a few bucks doing it. Awesome, that's great. Now I can like feed my kids some food, and like so. I take it hyper personal, and I know Coach Muhammad does as well. To the point to where like we used to handle everything with the gym, with the academy, everything, including cancellations. And bro, every time someone wanted to cancel, which they do regularly, I felt like it was like a breakup. Like I would take it like, and I would, and that would, so they would cancel. Like, of course they never come in and do it in person ever. It's always like a text, like, hey, yo, cancel, right? Like, yeah, like you don't get the respect to come and do it in person. So it's always at like an hour before you have to step on the mat. And now that's jacking up my headspace because I'm super like that threw off my whole.
Where did I fail, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, what's it? Like, okay, they weren't here for a couple weeks. Like, did I need to go to their house and like collar drag them to the mat? Like what happened? And so one of the best things we did, and I think that's where you inferred it, is the coach. Coach can't do every damn thing for you. Like I can't go to your house and make you show up and like make you work out and all that. Like I can't do this. So I'll meet you halfway. You meet me halfway. You know what I mean? Like you step by step type thing.
It's a two-way street. I tell all my competitors, all my students.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you know, we're not in jiu-jitsu for the money, because we both know we do it because we love it. This is not the most lucrative career. We do it because it's a passion, but it hurts so bad that when somebody quits, because we realize how much they lost in their life.
But that's why it's hard to be a man who sees something, because you guys can see that the person can't see it.
Yeah, to them it's just they just quit football league. Yeah, to them they just quit football league. Yeah,
and that's when I say that jiu-jitsu is not for everyone, because the person gonna join excited. Oh, now I'm doing that jiu-jitsu thing, and they're like, oh, they kind of like grab on the UFC and whatever.
So
and when they realize that's harder than they thought.
Very much harder. So for us as coaches, and for people listening, if we were looking for people who have something special inside of them, and for everybody listening, for us, what could we look for that are signs of you have something special in you to be a very successful jiu-jitsu athlete, or have success because of jiu-jitsu? What are some qualities that people might have that all of us could look for?
It's hard to say one thing, Mr. Muhammad. Like, I'm looking a lot for their behavior in class, because their behavior in class can tell me a lot what kind of behavior they have as a person overall, and the willingness to learn, the acceptance of criticism, and the attitude after that are things that I'm always paying attention. I think that I always pay attention.
I have to further that, it's something I look for. This is like I'd like to get your feedback. I look for, I sort of believe that the flame that burns the hottest goes out the quickest. You know what I mean? Like we've all seen the kid who comes in. I've lost track. They train 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Coach, I'm going to be, I'm going to be X. I'm going to be like whatever. 6, 7 days. Bro, they're gone 3 months later. Like they're gone. 6, 7 days a week for 3 months. They're gone. I see, and I make sure to point them out. The guys who come in, they're not the loudest. They're not like, they don't necessarily like stick out as the all-stars. They're consistently here 3 days a week. They work in class. They come in, they do their gig. They work. They're a great teammate. They help others when they need to. They step off the mat. They come back in every like clocking in, clocking out. Like when I see that, though they may not be like the most well-known person in class. They may not be the most, the most popular in class, but like that's what I'm like that is they're going to be here. You know, like I noticed the quiet ones. Keep an eye on the quiet ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to tell my students that show up and be present are two different things.
Absolutely.
So I don't believe on that. Oh, just keep showing up. I don't believe on that. I believe on being present, and that goes back for what the things that I was saying, like the willingness to learn, acceptance of criticism, how your attitudes towards that, because they're gonna show me some tendencies that you have as a person, and then I gonna see your attitude to coming back on the next day, the consistency, the presence in the presence in class. Those are things that I think a lot of times you don't gonna be the most athletic guy or the most athletic girl, but because you willing to learn and then take criticism when this happen, and then keep looking for improvement, being consistent, like in classes. That those are qualities that gonna pay off. Like uh, I like to post to write sometimes on my posts after competition that hard work works. I saw Jordan Burroughs writing that like a couple of years ago, because it really does, man. Hard work works. So yeah, you're gonna have losses. I don't believe you either win or learn. No, you either win or lose, and then you lose. Lose because it hurts.
Yep.
Lose because it's important. It is important because you grow if you understand the process.
Absolutely. So
You
so
know.
we have Professor. I know you have to catch a flight, so I think we got time for one more question.
Yes, you have to catch a flight. I mean, you're a very busy man. Immediately after you get off this, you're probably heading to the airport, right?
Yes, going to Boston. Gonna be filming another instruction
Where
with BJJ Fanatics. So looking for this.
so um, you're going to do a demo. You're going to tell us about that.
Gonna be filming an instructional on guard passing for BJJ Fanatics. I'm excited for that. They invited me, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that one was short notice. Uh, I'm excited for that. Last night, I was talking to Mr. Zenga, one of the co-founders of BJJ Fanatics. I know that Felipe Preguiça gonna be there as well. So maybe we're gonna have a dinner or something. He was talking about that. So gonna be exciting. I talked to Bernardo Faria this past weekend as well. So we're gonna be doing some things as well. So I always enjoy to be around those guys because they're successful guys as well. And I really believe that like if you wanna be great, you have to be surrounded by greatness. So looking forward to be there, hanging out with them and teaching and learning some jiu-jitsu.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So I have a last random thought question. Just
Mm-hmm.
that's a personal question because I do think jujitsu. I do want to keep jujitsu violent. So what if you had to do one? If you could only pick one no gi submission to use in a self defense scenario, like you could only use one,
Mm-hmm.
which one are you going to use?
Guillotine.
Guillotine. Great answer. It's a kissing cousin of the Dars. Just so we're all clear. It's kissing.
I love chokes. Inogi guillotine, inagi Ezekiel choke, and cross choke. Some schools they're gonna call cross choke X choke, right?
Yep.
Uh, I love chokes because the choke doesn't matter how strong you are.
Absolutely.
If
Yeah.
you think you're tough, night.
I agree. That's it. And if you're on something, you're on something, you may not be able to feel the pain of an arm lock or whatever, but you
Mm-hmm.
cut the blood flow off, they go out. I agree.
100%.
Could you also send us a link to your BJJ Fanatics? I'm sure people might be asking about it. We can for the for our community, any of our watchers and our members, we'd love to get a one-on-one with you. So whenever you get a chance,
Yes. Soon as they release that, I'll send it for you guys. Right now, I have the half guard one, like visible jiu-jitsu, the half guard system. That's been very successful. They
Is that the same stuff Jabril's been working on?
exactly.
I rolled him last night, and I popped the Motrin, and I said, let me check it out. And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, that half guard series is high level.
Yeah,
High level, very good.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, very good.
He's doing very good. He's improving very fast. Looking forward to work with him again. I'm gonna be reaching out to him this week because we're gonna be talking about a training plan. So I'm looking forward to keep working with him. He's a special kid for sure, and I'm gonna keep improving. The half guard is being doing very well. That's why they call me to go back now. Now gonna be guard passing. I call the spread passing system. You can ask
You
Jibril.
call it the what? The what? Oh, the
Spread
spread
passing
test.
system.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you guys can ask Jibril because he felt that a little bit.
Right
Oh,
on.
we heard. You're doing an amazing job with him and all of your athletes. I mean, they're lucky to have you. We appreciate you coming on. I mean, you're just all that you've done for the sport, jiu-jitsu community, and us here. We appreciate you.
No, thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you, Mr. David, as well. Thank you guys for the invitation to be here.
Of course.
Hopefully, to come back more times, you can talk more because I know that just 1 hour is not enough for everything that we have to talk about.
Sure.
We'd love to have you back.
So, any other time that you guys would like me to have me back, I'll be back here without a problem.
Thank you, sir.
Sounds great.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Professor Bruno.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care.